They sent the cops to storm up to the castle and tell me I got a week left. I called the guy, and he immediately saw the 802 number and sent it right to voicemail. But I left him a big message saying, like, as soon as the cops left, I told you guys my favorite bird is the black-capped chickadee, and I hadn't seen them in here in a couple years. But as soon as I asked God, like, should I fight for this place, 10 of them showed up, and they were all around me. So I called him and told him that I said I just wanted to say thank you. I told him I've been homeless since I was 14, and this is the only home I've ever known. And I just hung out and fed my chickadees and scared the crows away from the little birds they try to eat, and that I was cleaning the property and that it was a big mess. And I told him that I wanted to turn this into a historical landmark because it's been around for 100 years, and then turn this into a wildlife preservation for the college to run a program on how to heal injured animals and set up a little shop here for them. And then when I went to tell him that, you know, maybe you could just sell me the cabin. This place is $60,000. He has a buyer. The buyer intends to bulldoze the entire thing and do exactly what they did to my dad, build condos. They want to burn this forest down, and they intend to build over it. So, we can do this side. So, I don't know what to do. I can't even get a birth certificate. So there's no way I could work. If I was making $1,000 a week, it would be a year and a half before I could pay for this. I could go and buy a ranch. I could try to open up a small ranch in southern Colorado or northern Arizona or something. I could go travel through Hawaii, but all the birds are going left to right for that. But then when I ask if nature wants me to fight for my home, they all go right to left. See? Did you clock that? Were you able to see that? There was a bird sitting right on my water here. That as soon as I said, should I fight for my homeland? Learn from my father's mistakes. Here's the gang stalker in the blue car that every time I go to leave this property, they show up and drive by every single time. Like they're just sitting out there. Followed by the black truck. You can't make this shit up every time. That black truck, when people show up to drop me off here, with the, like, and my mom could even vouch that as soon as anybody pulls up here, that guy is always just around. And that blue car has showed up since. So both of my gang stalkers have shown up immediately upon exiting the forest. So which means that they were probably stationed on either side. It can't just be perfect timing, but here's the best view in Vermont. I used to pray for a view like this. Here's my bird right to left again. Just to show you I'm not making shit up. It's a chickadee, I think. It might have been a sparrow. But just to show you I'm not making shit up. My birds are all here. You can see the trash people are chucking to try to make the property owner mad at me. They've been throwing their trash here to make it look more of a mess because I started cleaning it. They saw that the area was getting cleaner, so they dumped a bunch of trash around. But let me show you Killington. On that mountain way over there, I went before I came here And I got that's really cool. That's a military grade industrial truck with a tiny home built on top of the back. That was freaking sweet. But over on that mountain is Killington. It's a ski resort. And I worked there for about a week. When I got there, they hired me. It seemed really weird. As soon as I signed the papers, then I felt like they had spiritually stolen my life force energy. And then the ex-cop that was the manager started walking around with the energy he stole, and all the girls were giggling about it. And then he berated me in front of everyone and beat down on me, started swinging, and said if I didn't like it, I could leave. So they hired me in it's the literal satanic ritual. But I was like, fuck it. It's just a test from God to see if I could persevere. So I'm going to stay. I'm going to work and be a good housekeeper because I know it's rich people here. So I worked for as long as I could. They weren't feeding me. They wouldn't let me stay on the mountain. I couldn't afford gas because my paycheck hadn't come in. So my car ran out of gas at the bottom of the mountain, and I was walking up it every day to work. And the whole time I was there, they were treating me like shit, like really badly. And I found out that the way Vermont taxes work is that you don't have to keep the homeless person, but every homeless person that you hire is another notch on your taxes. So their whole thing is to do that ritualistically to homeless people. Hire them, make it hell for them, fire them, or force them to quit, not fire them, make them quit, and then hire somebody else, because that's another tax add-on. So that's why I left there and wound up here. So I've got 2 free sandwiches at McDonald's I'm going to get, and then I'm gonna come back, enjoy my last meal here. The government shut down, my food stamps ended, so I can't get back on food stamps until the government reopens. So I saw it as really freeing this morning that I was finally free from the government's control. I felt like I had really shied away from police trauma because I was more conscious and free. So of course, within 20 minutes, the cops were there. These guys were probably the nicest cops I've ever met. They both said they were old enough to be my grandparents. And they said that I post concerning things online. So everybody in the state knows about me, they said. Everybody's heard of Casey at this point. He's the guy that threatens to kill cops on the internet. Here's the park and ride. Here's a little bird. That one's a sparrow. But check this out. This is the first time I've never been to big mountain ranges. I've been in survival mode my whole life. I went into New York City on a trip once, but I couldn't really think because I was on medication. So I've never seen anything like this. And the first time I saw this, I woke up to this because they brought me here in the middle of the night. But I kept praying to God for years that I was like, my perfect home needs to have a mountain range, and it needs to have valleys in it, and it needs to have rivers that run between the valleys, and little nooks that I can set up things in and build a little village around. And then I got this. It's just the locals have been horrible. They've been really bad. It really is. If I were to walk to town right now, at least one person would try to sideswipe me with their mirror. I let them go. There's big crows up there. Let's see. So unless anyone has $60,000, there's not. I'm going to be cast back out. I spent 2 years in the water year traveling around Lake Champlain, and then I just spent 2 years in the wood element years, wood, dragon, and snake, traveling up all the way to Johnson. From here, so then the next 2 years are going to be fire, which is passion, creativity. It's going to be dark green. And I don't know, I really wanted to build a castle here. King's Way, followed by a green truck with a tiny home built on the back. Isn't that cool? So that's that. Last year I used to sit on this bridge and beg God to just possess me first for 2 seconds just to make me jump because I was too scared. I didn't want to jump, but I wanted to kill myself. So I'd come here in the winter and I'd wait and I'd be like, just take over for 2 seconds and plot me in front of this RV right here, which is my favorite colors, the red. That one's a Rebel. Yeah, maybe I should. Goodbye.